I've been in the bando with the chick. Well, Jimmy Choo Sando, cause I'm rich.
What's going on? What's going on, man? It's your boy RichinFaithTV. We always working, we always grinding, and we always finding, the best entrepreneurs out here in the world, the people out here that, picks up, the Black community and empower women, men, and all over. Today, we have the pleasure to speak with CEO Angel Stewart. We have the pleasure to be interviewing her today. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. And how about you?
I'm doing well. I'm happy to be able to interview you. I had to make this a priority. I mean, we've been talking about it for like a year, if not two. I don't know if 2 is a long time, but I know we've been talking about it for about a year. So we're here today.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So, Gypsy. What does Gypsy mean to you? What does being a Gypsy mean to you?
To me, being a Gypsy is someone who's free-spirited, someone who's all around and they're just free-minded. And that's what a Gypsy means to me, in my opinion.
Okay. So when you put together that Gypsy Brunch, how was that like? How did that transpire? How did that go?
Now, you referred me to Ashley. That actually was not my brunch. So it was Ashley, and she got in touch with you because she was looking for speakers. And so you got her in touch with me. So it was a referral through you that I was able to be an empowerment speaker at her brunch. But how she all put it together, she called around, did the referrals for the speakers and stuff. And it was just empowering young women, older women, women of all ages, and young girls, how to just be able to step into their divine purpose and what it is that they want to do in life, even conquering their dreams.
Awesome. Growing up, I don't know your age, but growing up, did y'all have those type of programs in place to help, the youth, young women, youth at those times?
No, actually, we did not. And that's why Ashley, me, and an entire tribe of beautiful, amazing women, that's why we focus so much on being able to speak up and speak out and show young girls and women of all ages how to speak out, because back then we didn't have that. I feel like the things that I went through, had I had a mentor, had I had someone that was more like a sisterhood or someone I could trust and confide in, I would not have gone through so many things that I went through. I feel like somebody would have heard my cry, heard my voice, and saw how I was trying to get attention in different ways, that I was being abused when I was coming up as a young child.
Wow. So you're originally from Birmingham, Alabama, correct?
Actually, I'm from a small town called Talladega, Alabama. It's a really small town. It's near the super speedway. But I've been here in Birmingham for over 25 years now.
So give me a little bit about your upbringing. You said you had been assaulted at a young age. You don't have to go into details, but how did you cope with that trauma growing up?
It took a lot out of me. I felt it took a lot of years off of my life. I felt the people that should have been protecting me, showing me love and showing me how to grow up to be a confident woman with self-esteem, I felt like it was not done. When I was a baby, my father killed my mom. And so I grew up in a home without my mom and without my dad. But I grew up being raised by my mother's side of the family, my grandmother, my uncles, and my aunt. And as me and my sister got older, things got worse. So me and my sister, we have a different father, and my brother has a different father for me and my sister. But it was me and my sister's father that actually killed our mom. And my sister and I felt that we were the punching bags. Like, they didn't have anybody else to take their anger, their hurt and pain out on. So it was just me and my sister that had to deal with it. And so, I couldn't confide into anybody, the church, the school, like nobody, because it's such a small town where everybody knows everybody. So I was just told, I was just this out of control child, but no one understood the behind the scenes, the secrets and stuff that was going on inside the home, the secrets and stuff that was going on inside the family, because they tried to have this high image. You know how some people just want to uphold this perfect image of who they are, but behind the scenes, there are things going on that people don't know. Well, that's the type of town I come from. That's the type of family background that I came from. So with that being said, I used to run away from home. My first relationship as a young girl was at 16, domestic violence. But you have to look at, I saw a lot of things. I experienced a lot of things. And so that's all I knew. That led me to my oldest daughter, you know, being in a domestic violence relationship with him, being raped in a 20-year marriage of domestic violence. So I went through a lot, but people have to understand it's a pattern somewhere. It's a root of an issue somewhere that nobody thought to even try to pull and figure out what's going on. What's wrong with Angel? Why is she acting this way? So for all these years, I just was running like from a broken little girl to a broken woman, confiding in people to fill those voids of love, happiness, self-esteem, confidence, respect. And it took me, you know, finally getting away from my children's father, and healing 5 years ago, just healing. Like, I was like, you know, what can a man do for me that I can't do for myself? If I'm broken, how can a man love me and do the things that he needs to do when I'm just broken? And all I'm looking for is a temporary void. And so just, you know, from childhood to adulthood, because of what I went through, because of what I experienced, because of the things that I've seen, you know, that's all I knew. It was a pattern, a repeated pattern. And so that's why I speak so vividly. I don't want women and young girls to have to go through the things that I went through. I want them to know that regardless of, you know, I get backlash now from my family. Oh, you know, you're telling myths, you're telling lies, you know, you're just trying to make a sale. I'm not trying to make a sale. My truth is raw and unspoken because this is the truth of what I went through. And a lot of times, even in our culture, we don't want to talk about these things. We don't want to talk about the secrets. We don't want to talk about there's mental health issues in the family. Nobody wants to talk about that. Everybody wants to say, oh, go pray about it, or go to church, or go read the Bible, or go, you know, listen to a gospel song, or, you know, just let it go and move on. Everybody can't do that. We all have our own way of healing. So with me, what's so therapeutic for me is I can speak up and speak out for so many people, so many angels that are sitting trying to figure out, am I going to keep pleasing people? Am I going to try to keep making people happy when I'm sitting here being miserable and unhappy? Because that was once me, but that ain't me no more. You will not hear me not speaking about the things that happened to me, because my story is not for me. It's to be able to help so many people that really need our help nowadays.
Listening to you talk, I had a few questions I wanted to ask you about that domestic violence situation. What do you think caused domestic violence in the relationship? Do you think it's the love between both partners, or it's insecurities that both partners got going on that they're not really like communicating? So when they get in arguments, it turns into like it started off as a verbal argument and then probably get physical. Why do you think it gets physical, and why does it continue to keep happening to it boils over to something drastic happening? You got to get about the situation. Like, why do you think Black relationships, and not just Black relationships, but a lot of Black relationships go through a lot of domestic violence problems? Is it because of their upbringing, or is it the relationship?
The upbringing, because you nailed it on the head. Has nothing to do with lack of communication is a part of it, but most of it is upbringing. And let me tell you why. Because with my he's deceased, you know, rest in peace, my children's father, with him, he used to tell me all the time about how he was abused as a child, how his stepfather used to beat on him, lock him and his brother in the cabins because they too had a different father than his other 3 siblings. So he spoke about all the things, you know, how his mom wasn't there and she used to allow their stepdad to beat on them. So he's sitting there watching his stepdad beat on his mom, and then they're being beat on. So not only are you physically feeling it and going through it, you're seeing it, you're hearing it. So with him, he was broken, I was broken. When you get into these domestic violence relationship with a woman, something has happened to us. With a man, something has happened to them. And men are already, you know, born to be like this masculine, ego, aggressive type of person because they are supposed to be the head of the house, the king of the throne. But with women, we're trying to fill these voids because we're lonely. We don't like to be alone. we don't feel love. So we're trying to find somebody who can love us because we don't love ourselves. We're trying to find a man who.
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
That's hard. It's a
Mhm.
lot of pressure on the man. Listening to what you're saying, that's a lot of pressure on the man.